All right, so I've got another little book review for you that I thought I'd add into here, and this time it is Why Now is the Time to Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuck, also known as Gary V. And this was actually, it's a short book, but it's a very insightful book. And first thing I'll say right off the hop is um, Gary V's approach to business and work and just entrepreneurship, creativity, whatnot, is a little bit polarizing. It's a little bit controversial to some people. Some people say it sort of promotes almost like a toxic sort of hustle culture kind of thing. But I actually really enjoy all of the interviews I've seen with Gary V. I think he has a lot of great insights, a lot of great points. And I like how he's super stoked and excited about a lot of things. And he's sort of takes almost a contrarian approach where he's like, why wouldn't you want to hustle? Like, he's sort of like, what's so wrong with that? Like, it's almost like he loves it. Like, it's like he thinks that it's what people should be doing. He's like, if it's what you love doing, if it's what you're interested in, like, why wouldn't you want to hustle for it? Like, what's even the counter argument to it? Like, I like his I really enjoy his enthusiasm about it and sort of his contrarian way of looking at sort of like the mindset of like the toxic hustle culture or whatever, right? And I do find a lot of his approach to, say, the interviews he in, I find them quite entertaining and funny. There was an episode he did, a podcast he did on the Daily Stoic there a couple of years ago, where he's going on, he's in the middle of this great monologue, and then all of a sudden he just sort of stops and he's like, oh, what time is it? And he gets told the time, and then he's like, oh fuck man, I gotta go. He had some sort of other business obligation to tend to, but he was just right stoked in the moment on this monologue he was saying on the podcast, and he totally lost track of time. Like, I like that. I appreciate that kind of personality type, honestly, to tell you the truth. And so about the book, this is all about like online branding. It's all about like, whether it's a YouTube channel, Facebook account, any sort of social media account, it's all about sort of branding your name. And that's like branding yourself. Like, what sort of personality do you bring to the table? What sort of skills do you bring to the table? What sort of what sort of value can you bring to other people's lives through your online presence, basically? And how can that ultimately be, monetized and turned into a business, or advertised upon, whatever, right? And it's very insightful. He goes into all sorts of interesting things and actually a lot of this stuff prior to reading this book, and I wouldn't lie and say that it wasn't influenced at all by some of the podcasts I've listened to and people I've heard talk, but a lot of the stuff that he speaks about in here has crossed my mind before. It's actually something that I have actively thought of before, and it was great to see it sort of explained a little bit more eloquently / enthusiastically in this book. I think a lot of it makes a lot of sense, and I think it's like that most people, as he also states in the book, are doing without even really realizing it. And if they did realize it and put more conscious thought and effort into that aspect of their brand per se, they could do a lot better. And so it's very insightful in that sort of way. And he does explain how, some people aren't wired that way. Everybody has like different DNA. Everybody has a different mindset and wiring there, right? But what I really appreciate is he leaves no person behind. Because as much as I've thought about a lot of this stuff, I don't have the DNA, as he would say in this book, or the chops for a lot of the stuff he does. Other things, yes, but not a lot of the things that he does. But he doesn't leave anybody behind. I mean, there's an idea, a formula, just some sort of way that it could work for basically every personality type out there, and every DNA type, and he's very optimistic about presenting it in a way that like could work for you. He's sort of, and he's not even doing it in tons of like, oh, like no excuses, like just it's your responsibility kind of thing. Like he's actually like acknowledging that people are just like wired different ways, and he's like stoked to be like, here's what I think you could do that could work for you, kind of thing. And I appreciated that a lot. I enjoyed the optimism in that. And yeah, it's just a good short read all around, and it gets to the point quick, and it's fun too, right? Like I said, the optimism and the enthusiasm is there. It's a fun book to read, and yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. I think there's a lot of insights in there for you. And also, I will say, this guy's sort of a prodigy along the lines of like entrepreneurship and business. Like he talks about when he was a kid, like the business sort of stuff that he pulled off at a very young age is top notch. Like he's just definitely wired that way. And I will say, this book was written in 2009, so quite a long time ago. This was like the earlier, not the early, but the earlier days of the internet. And it was basically when like Facebook was like the most dominant social media site and whatnot. But he predicts a lot of things in there, and he says what he thinks is going to happen for basically the future of the internet and how you can benefit from it. And he was pretty damn close, like 99% close to being like bang on accurate. Like a lot of the stuff that he predicted would happen and what people would be doing with the internet and how it could serve them, and sort of the pitfalls that could come from it and how to watch out for that, is like he was on it. Like he really predicted the future of the internet very well, and I thought that was quite incredible to see for a book written in 2009, and being here at the latter half of 2025 and being like, yeah, like what this guy was talking about back then did come true, and it's what people are doing now as stated in this book, whether they realize it or not. And I think if you do read this book, you'll have a better idea at where you stand with it and what you could potentially do. So definitely give Why Now Is the Time to Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuck, Gary V, a read. And I think you'll enjoy it, and I think there's some insights that could benefit you. Thank you very much.